Hi there, parents. Welcome back to Good Enough Parenting Podcast. I'm Michele Johnson, your host, a certified parent coach. Now, in our last episode, we talked about the incredible power of being present in our parenting. We explore how to be truly there in body, heart, and mind, how to create these deep, meaningful connections with our kids. I also share some tips on mindfulness and how our early attachments shape our relationships. But today I'm super excited to keep the conversation going with a special guest, a fellow parent who's been on this journey of discovering the magic of presence in parenting. So she and I are going to dive deep into what it means to show up fully with our kids, build trust, and handle the ups and downs of loving with intention. So let's give a warm welcome, I know y'all out there, to Michele Brown. Michele, thanks for joining me. So let's kick this thing off. Can you just tell us a little bit about yourself and your own journey to realizing the importance of being present as a parent?
Well, thank you for having me, Michelle. I am a co parent of an 11-year-old boy, and this journey has been a bumpy one. I am a full time healthcare professional, so navigating the co parent journey has had a lot of bumps on the road, trying to stay present for him and also staying present for myself, being able to prioritize him as well as prioritizing myself, and realizing that when things start to go wrong, it's typically because there's an imbalance in how I'm able to prioritize and manage that.
Well, we're going to get into that realization of prioritizing yourself because
Yeah.
anybody who's a mama, we're usually last. And the idea of balance, okay, yeah, we're going to talk about that.
Okay.
So tell me, what does being present mean as a parent for you? Like for you, when you hear me say it's important to be present, what does that look like in your house, right? Because you guys know I say that this journey is unique, right? So I want you to tell what that looks like in your house and how did you make it a priority for daily life?
Being present to me means stopping what I feel like is important in that moment and paying attention to what's actually happening. And
Mm.
it sounds like it's the same thing, but it's really not. In the throes of getting to school, getting to work, getting from school, going to practice, getting dinner, teaching how to ride a bike, all the priorities and things that society almost pressures you to do, we get caught up in trying to make the next thing happen and not paying attention to what's happening in that moment. Example, Caleb will come home and have a long story. And parents, I know you know what I mean, the story that goes on forever. In the back of my mind, I'm thinking, please land the plane. But then I think back to when I would have those same things happen with my parents and how I felt that they were tuning me out
Mm.
or fake listening. And when I feel myself slipping into that, I will literally stop what I'm doing, put my hands down, make eye contact with him, and listen to the whole long story from end to end.
Yeah. So you said a couple things that I really want to pull out, right? That there's a difference between doing stuff with them and being present.
Yes.
And part of being present requires you to stop, like to actually take time to spend in the moment, right? And I heard you say that, like, little boys that are between the ages of 8 and 11 have long stories. And in the past, most of us, or like you said, when you were a child, you running through stuff in the back of your head, like, okay, yep, half of this is not real. You're making it up, but that's cool. I got dinner to cook. But
Right.
now you said, no, no, no. I remember what that felt like. I remember feeling like nobody was really listening or hearing me. And I don't want that for him.
Right.
I want this connection. Y'all know my favorite definition of connection. If you have been listening to this podcast, if not, I'm going to give it to you again. Thank you, Miss Brene Brown. Connection is when the other person in a relationship with you feels like you see them, hear them, and understand. So for you, presence is making sure your son, feel seen, heard, and understood.
Yes.
That's so good. Now, that sounded cute, didn't it? It sounded like she made it and it's easy to do. But
Not.
I am sure there are some challenges to staying fully present with Caleb.
Yes.
How do you get through them?
I give myself permission to make mistakes along the way.
Yes, ma'am.
There are many times that in the back of my mind when, long story loading is happening, and I just don't have it in that moment. And I'll say to myself, and I will actually say to my son, if you could give me just a few moments so that I can hear your whole story. Right now, I'm doing whatever task. And I just need a moment to complete that so I can pay attention to it. And then I can give you my full attention. Rehearsing that with him has been golden because there are times when he needs that same space. I remember us riding in the car. I picked him up after school. And, like most parents, how was your day? They never respond to that. Well, they always say good. And I said to myself, okay, I'm not going to say that. I'm going to change it up. And I think he got weary of that. So I picked him up on this particular day. And I said, so Caleb, how was your day? Mommy, I'm just not ready to talk about it right now. In my mind, I'm thinking, hallelujah, because I didn't even want to ask you, but I felt like I had to as a good parent. But we have established giving each other the grace to have that space when we need it. And it's not disrespectful. It's just space. And so I honor that for him, and he can honor that for me. So he knows when I say, Caleb, right now I just need a moment, he's not offended. He doesn't feel invisible. He actually can appreciate, that's great, because when I tell you I need my moment, I'm going to need my moment too.
Oh my gosh. Y'all, did y'all catch all of that? Like, did you catch all of that? Like, okay, we got to break it down.
Okay.
So you said you rehearsed it.
Yes.
You had to teach yourself to do that. It wasn't something that came naturally.
No.
Right? And it was okay. This is good enough parenting, you guys. Your kids are not going to fail if you are not there every second, right? I'm telling you, you have to be present in the connection, but there are real moments when you are tired.
Yes.
And you don't have it in you to do it fully. So it is more respectful to honor that and to let your child know that.
All day.
And they'll get used to it. It's weird at first, right? They like, okay. But the brain mirrors your environment. And so he is learning. You are the model. You are the example. So he gets to learn to tell people, you know what? I really do want to talk to you, but right now I need some space. And so that works back and forth, right?
It does.
So the challenge of getting to the space where you're comfortable saying, "Ooh, boo, not right now. I love you, and if you really want me to listen, you might have to wait 10 minutes."
Exactly.
Or after dinner.
Right.
And then you get all of me.
Right.
And then he gets to tell you the same thing. And did y'all hear her say it wasn't disrespectful?
It is not.
It is not disrespectful. It is actually more respectful. Love that. Love that. All right. So you did describe a moment for us just now, but I want you to describe another moment where you felt fully present with your child.
Oh boy, we've created quite a few of those. We were watching a television show about a school and school teachers and how things are different from the kids' perspectives and the teachers' perspectives. And we're on a time frame. I'm very type A, so I appreciate a schedule and things have a hard start and stop in order for us to move seamlessly to the next activity. Watching the show, time is ticking, and he had a question about it. Normally, I would say, just hold on and we'll talk about it during the commercial. But the question came with a bit of urgency, so I paused the show. And I said to him, it takes as long as it takes for us to talk this through so I can explain it to you so that you understand. And if we don't finish the show because we run out of time, that's fine, because talking about this in this moment is more important. I want to be present and hear what you're asking and understand what you're saying so that I can answer you in a way that you understand. And whatever time that takes is the time that it takes. So that meant The whole schedule went to wash, went to bed late, but it was really important to be present in that moment with him so that I could explain what he really needed to hear about.
That's so cool, right? So routines are important.
Hmm.
So it's okay to be super structured and it's okay to be super flexible,
Yes.
right? And so that present moment was, hey, my kid really is struggling with whatever the conversation was that came up in there. And I need to let him know that it's okay to ask questions and that I'm going to actually answer and give you as much as I can at a level that you
That he can
understand.
understand.
And that might take us some time. And that you said to him, I'm going to take all the time we need. Now, with the same boundary, we might not finish the show tonight.
Exactly.
Right? So for some kids, they'd be like, okay, so we go watch. No, you knew ahead of time. And that's the cool part of this, right? You gave him the information ahead of time. So he knew what to expect.
Hmm.
We may not finish the show tonight because we already over time.
Right.
But this is worth the time. Yes. And by the way, I love that you watched this show about education because I'm a former educator, y'all. Because there are different lenses,
Yes.
right? The kid's point of view and the teacher's point of view. So, parents, when the child comes home and tells you that something happened in the classroom
Mm.
and it doesn't match what the teacher said, do not assume your child is lying. They might be, but don't assume. Be curious, ask questions, listen to your child's perspective, and then compare it to the teacher's perspective. Also, as a former school administrator, you will find there is a middle ground because there's always two sides to a story. And then the
Three.
truth is in the middle. And
Three
then
sides.
the three sides, right? The third side. And then, so she gave y'all a lot of gems just now, not just about being present, but even watching a show that allows you to look at both perspectives because now her son also believes that, hey, I see this through my eyes and you see this through your eyes. That
Right.
is so cool. I love every bit of that. All right. So, what are some practical strategies or techniques that you yourself use to stay mindful and grounded as a parent? Like to allow, like, how do you know to pause?
I just pause. I think what really drives it, and it really sounds hokey, whenever we get on an airplane, the stewardess come through, they say, buckle your seatbelt. We're all tuning into our favorite music. But it struck me one day when the stewardess came by and said, please, if you're traveling with a child, put the oxygen on yourself first. Because in the heat of it, you're not going to be thinking that. You're going to be thinking, I have to save the child while you pass out. And then both of you perish. So literally, I take a breath. And when things really start to well up and I get to where I'm feeling overwhelmed, I'm feeling stressed, I literally stop and take a breath to try to recenter myself, get back into the moment, and try to re-engage, okay, which way, what is the priority, which way do we need to go right now? It literally is stopping, closing my eyes, and taking a breath.
It sounds so simple,
Hmm.
right? Everybody thinks you have to have all these strategies, but just pausing, even if there's chaos around you, allows you to do a couple things, right? We take for granted the whole, everybody's heard the airplane speech. But when you're not on the airplane, it still works at home is what
Right,
like
right.
like I need to get myself under control so I can
Yes,
get this situation under control. So I
exactly.
am going to take a breath
Hmm.
and I'm actually going to pause
And
before I respond.
I encourage him to do the same.
Oh, that's good stuff.
So when he sees me do that, and I guess our little house rule is I'm a talker, he's a talker. His stories are longer than mine. I'm just going to say that. But when I feel like things are starting to escalate or my emotions are, getting a little entangled, it's interesting that I will take a breath and be silent. And I've told him, since you know that I'm a talker, if I get silent, there's something happening. So it's time for not only me to take a breath, but for you to take a
That's
breath.
good.
And so what I do, I try to encourage him to do. And it has worked thus far.
So it's a name for what she's talking about. It's a technical name and it's called co-regulation,
Mm.
right? So we all have these emotions, and as adults, our brain has the capability of regulating our emotions.
Mm.
Michelle, what does that mean? It means there's a difference between reacting and responding. When you yelling and screaming, and they yelling and screaming, and you yelling and screaming, and they yelling and screaming, you are reacting. Now that's normal.
It
It's
happens.
human. Every once in a while, you're gonna do
It
that,
still happens.
right? But if you respond, you allow your nervous system, I know, technical again, but you allow the inside of you to calm down. And I don't like the word calm because we don't know what that means. Never tell a child to calm down, by the way, because they
It
don't know what
doesn't
that
work.
means. But you get yourself together. We're going to use less technical terms. You
Right.
get yourself together.
Right.
But I love that, and you'll hear me say this if I haven't said it yet in any episode, the brain mirrors the environment. You are your child's mirror.
Yes.
You are your child's role model, right? And so articulating that out loud, right? I tell people all the time when we were younger, we learned a lot of stuff just by assuming. Our parents didn't explain stuff. You just kind of got it through osmosis. Like when this happened, this is what they do.
Right.
Because your brain is going to mirror it. But I love that we now realize we should tell our kids.
Yes.
We should communicate because some strategies we didn't learn because they didn't tell us.
Exactly.
We didn't catch it.
Right.
Right? So by telling him, hey, when I get a little frazzled, I'm going to stop and take a breath. And by the way, you should do the same thing. That's the co-regulate, right? She took the breath first. So now her body and her mind are slowing down, and his body and mind will do the same thing. And guess how much powerful that is? That's even more powerful because when he's out away from her and somebody's irritating him, something in his body is going to remind us of, yo, if you take a breath, this might end differently than if you just react.
And
at
we've
school.
had those scenarios as well.
Right?
Yeah. Yep.
And so learning that. Now, let me help y'all out. The 11-year-old is not going to do this on their own.
No.
Their brain does not have the capacity to regulate itself. Y'all ready for this? 25 years old. So they need you to continually regulate, but you can keep introducing the strategies because as they get older, they will get better at it and do it more often. So I love that, every part of that. So this that balance question.
Okay.
Remember y'all heard her say balance earlier, and I told her I was coming back.
Yes.
How do you balance being present while juggling the other responsibilities you have in life?
Well, it's a balancing act. That doesn't mean that you always gonna stay on the beam.
Ooh.
So in this,
Did y'all get the analogy? Okay, go ahead.
on a balance beam, right? You're not always gonna stay on the beam. I mean, there are the professionals, the Olympians fall off the beam. The key is dusting yourself off and getting back on. So giving myself the grace to say, today I didn't handle that the best way that I could. And I do what my parents never did, apologize.
Woo.
I never got an apology
Right.
for when my parents could not keep themselves under control. What I got was a hand or a belt. But I give myself the permission to say, today didn't go well, and that is okay. We are okay. We will be okay. We'll talk it out, and we'll move past it. And I will try my best to ground myself the next time because there's always going to be a next time. There's always going to be a next episode, incident, something at school, something with a friend. There's always going to be something. So I give myself the grace and permission to say, I'm not perfect, and that's okay.
That's why this is called Good Enough Parent Podcast, y'all.
Mm-hmm.
Because you can only be good enough. We cannot be perfect. And we all want this desire to be like the greatest parents ever because we want our kids to end up being the greatest parents. And as you keep saying, there's certain things you want to do differently than your parents did. You're aware
Right.
of what you want to do differently.
Right.
But some days it may not happen.
No.
And so get back on the balance beam. You're going to fall. And if you watch the Olympics this summer, you
Mhm.
saw the women's team manage that and
Yes.
still get a goal.
Yes.
And guess what? They all right.
That's right.
And so Caleb is going to be all right if some days don't go
Exactly.
the way you think, if you're not totally present on some days. And So this is what happens, right? I got to give y'all the technical part a little bit. So you heard her say they were disconnected. She didn't
Mhm.
say it, but this is what she said. She had to go back and apologize. And the reason she had to go back and apologize, because when you respond, react instead of respond, there is a disconnection between that see, feel, and hear you just goes away,
Yes.
right? You yelling, you not paying, yeah, it's just out the window, right? And so you're disconnected at that point, and you need to reconnect.
Yes.
And so you heard her say, she actually goes and tells her son, not that she's sorry for maybe the situation.
Right.
She still might be upset about that.
Right.
She's apologizing for her response to the situation, how she reacted, and that wasn't her intention. There's a difference. I still might be upset with the behavior.
Correct.
It's just my response to that behavior that wasn't the way I wanted it to come out. And as a result, we're not connected. So now I can't even address the behavior because
Right.
you're not listening. You have shut down or fighting me.
Yep.
You yelling back. So that's so powerful. Yeah, I love that. I love every bit of that. So we're going to end a little bit. We're going to give some advice.
Okay.
What advice would you give to other parents who are struggling to stay present and connected with their children amidst the busyness of everyday life?
A few things I would say. Number one, put the oxygen mask on yourself first. Give yourself the space. It takes 2 seconds. You're already breathing. To take a deep breath and just reset yourself. It will change the trajectory of how everything else goes.
Mhm.
Give yourself the grace and the space to make mistakes.
That's good stuff.
Perfection is the enemy of the good.
Mhm.
And sometimes good is good enough, which is why we're having this talk.
I love it.
We were not put here to be perfect.
Mhm.
We all want the same things for our kids. We want them healthy. We want them happy. We want to be engaged. Give yourself the grace and the permission to make the mistakes and have an opportunity to try again.
I love it. So we're not here to be perfect because we just not perfect.
Right.
We got sin nature. The only perfect parent is God.
All
And
day.
guess what he does? Everything she just said. When we mess up as his children, he gives us grace.
Yes.
The same grace we need to give ourselves and the same grace we need to give our kids. And then, y'all might have to go back and watch the sermon where Pastor did on Jonah. We
And
get a
another
second chance. Not just a second chance, we get another chance. So check it out, because God gives us another chance.
Yes.
We get another chance, and so do our kids.
Yes.
All right. So thank you so much for joining me today. My
Thank
heart
you
is
for
so
having
filled
me.
for being on the Good Enough Parent podcast. I hope that our chat on the power of presence in parenting has given you some useful insights and some practical tips. Remember, it's not about being perfect, but about making progress and showing up for our kids in our bodies, our heart, and our minds. Now, don't forget to tune into the next episode because we're talking about morning routines,
Ooh.
all the challenges and chaos that happens in the morning, and some effective strategies for smoother and more enjoyable mornings. Until then, keep showing up, keep connecting, and keep being the best version of yourself for your kids. You got this. Take care and see you next time.